beautiful to see all you beautiful people. We are beyond excited to be back here performing here for our 8th Concord Shakespeare show, and we're glad you came here to join us, and that the weather cooperated so that we could be out here today. This group that you're about to see perform today, we call ourselves the World's Stage Players. We still are affiliated with Concord Players up the road, but we decided to give ourselves a little bit of a different moniker, just to let you know and let our community know that we plan to be here as long as we can, doing these summer shows every summer, and then maybe some other activities. We kind of got interrupted by the pandemic in terms of launching Worlds of Stage Players in a more robust way throughout the year. But now that we're kind of easing back into this theater world and are allowed to do so, we're going to be talking about how we can expand what we offer. So if you love Shakespeare, keep track of us, concordplayers.org. We have our own little sub page for the Worlds of Stage Players, and we'd love to see each and every one of you come back out to the things that we are here to offer. Without further ado, we will get on to it. This is Shakespeare's As You Like It.
As I remember, it was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will, but poor 1,000 crowns, and charged my brother to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother stays me here at home, unkept, for call you this keeping for a gentleman of my birth. His horses are bred better. But I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth, for the which his animals on his dunghills are as much bound to him as I. This is it that grieves me. And the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny at this servitude. I will no longer endure it. But yet I know of no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I am helping you to mar that which God hath made, a poor unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry then, sir? Be better employed and not be a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, very well. Here in your orchard.
Know you before whom you speak, sir?
I, better than him I am before, knows me. Oh, I know. You are my eldest brother. Well, the courtesy of nations allows you my better in that you are the firstborn. That same tradition takes not away my blood where there 20 brothers betwixt us. I have as much of my father in me as you.
What, boy?
You are too young in this, elder brother.
Oh, wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. I'm not my brother. I would not take my hand from thy throat till the other had torn out thy tongue for saying so. Now hast railed on myself.
Let go of me, I say!
I will not till I please. You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. Well, the spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor lottery my father left me by testament. With that, I will go buy my fortunes.
What wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Get you in, then. It shall not be long that I'm bothered with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray thee, leave me.
I will no further offend thee than becomes me for my good.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me. I will physic your rankness and give you no 1,000 crowns neither.
Good morrow to your worship.
Oh, good Monsieur Charles. What's the new news in the new court?
The news at court is the old news. That is to say, the old duke is banished by the new duke, his younger brother. 3 or 4 loving lords join him in voluntary exile, and their lands and revenues enriching the new duke, so he gives them free leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh no. For her cousin, the duke's daughter, loves her so, being ever from the cradle bred together, that he would follow her to exile or else die to stay behind. She is at court, and is much beloved of her uncle as his own daughter, and never did 2 ladies love so well.
Where will the old duke live?
They say he is already in the forest of Arden, and many merry men with him. And there they live, like the old Robin Hood of old England. And daily gentlemen flock to him, and then they fleet carelessly in the tide, like they did in the golden world.
What? You wrestle before the new duke tomorrow?
Marry, sir, I do. And I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando has the disposition to come disguised against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes without some broken limb or other shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and out of love for you, I am loath to foil him, as I must do for mine honor, if he comes in. I came hither to acquaint you with all, that you might dissuade him from his intendment, or else brook such disgrace well that it is a matter of his own search and none of my own doing.
I had myself notice of my brother's purpose, and herein, by underhand means, labored to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. I tell thee, Charles, it's the most stubborn young folk man of France, full of ambition, an envious emulator of every man's good parts, and a secret contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore use thy discretion. I had it as lief that thou broke his neck as his finger, and thou best look to it. For if thou dost him any slight disgrace, and if he doesn't mightily grace himself upon thee, he will entrap thee by poison. Entrap thee until he has taken thy life by some indirect means or other. And I say this nearly with tears in my eyes, that there is not one so young and villainous this day living. And I speak brotherly of him, but if I were to atomize him, I would look blush and weep, and thou shalt look pale and wonder.
My lord, I am heartily glad I came to speak to you today. If he comes tomorrow, I will give him his payment. Farewell, my lord.
Farewell, Monsieur Charles. Now, I will stir this gamester. For in my soul I do not know why hates nothing more than he. But he is schooled and yet never learnt, or learnt and never schooled, full of heart and of the people of this world, so much that I am otherwise misprized. But it shall not be for long. This wrestler shall settle all. I have nothing more than to kindle the boy thither.
Matelot, emplis mon verre, et chante avec les voileux. Nous avons gagné la guerre, ma voiture pour les aheux. Matelot, envers sa gloire.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cause, be merry!
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of. And would you yet I were merrier? Unless you can teach me to forget a banished father, you shall not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I shall forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, and truly when he dies thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. My sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
Henceforth I will cause and devise sports. Let me see, what think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly.
Nay, now thou goest from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in the gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No. When nature hath made a fair creature, may she not, by fortune, fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flout at fortune, Hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the argument? How now, wit, whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was bid come for you.
Here comes Madame Labelle,
With her mouth full of news.
which she will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
Then we shall be news crammed.
All the better, for we shall be the more marketable. Bonjour, Madame Labelle. What's the news?
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What color, madame? You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyships, you may seize the end, for the best is yet to do. And here, where you are, they're coming to perform it. There comes an old man and his 3 sons. The eldest of the 3 wrestles with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles, in a moment, threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, that there's little hope of life in him. So he served the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Alas!
First ever I heard that breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Or I promise you.
But is there any other longs to see to hear this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here's the place appointed for the wrestling, and they're ready to perform it.
Yonder, sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madame.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
Oh, now, daughter and cousin, are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
I, my liege, so please you to give us leave.
You will find little delight in it, I can tell you. There is such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Madame Labelle.
Do so, I'll not be by.
Monsieur le Challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I come but in as others do to try him with the strength of my youth.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to more equal enterprise. We pray you, for your own sake, embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. Your reputation will not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling may not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts. Wherein I confess myself much lately to deny so fair, excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled there is but one shamed who was never gracious. If killed, one dead who was willing to be so. I shall do my friends no harm, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. In the world do I take up a place, which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength I have, I would have were with you.
And mine, to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Come! Where is this young gallant so desirous to lay with his mother earth?
Ready, sir? Come your way.
Excellent, young man!
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who should down.
No more! No more!
Yes, I beseech your grace, I am not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois.
Wouldst thou had been son to some man else? The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I wouldst thou had told me of another father.
Were I my father, cause would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind.
Let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved if you do keep your promises in love, but justly, having exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cousin?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentlemen!
Can I not say thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a Quinton, a mere lifeless block.
Oh, he calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he will. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well, and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Farewell.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art o'erthrown.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause, and love. Yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done.
I thank you, madam, and pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was the daughter of the Duke that here was at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter if we judge by manners, eh? But yet indeed the lesser is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, and kept here by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late, Duke has taken displeasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument than that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. And I can tell you that his malice against the lady will suddenly burst forth. Sir, there you will. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounden to you. Fare thee well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from a tyrant duke unto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind.
Why, cousin? Why, Rosalind? Cupid have mercy, not a word!
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me! Come, lame me with reason!
Then there were two cousins laid up, when the one should be lamed with reasons, and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No. Some of it is for my child's father.
Oh!
How full of briars is this working day world?
They are but birds, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. Come, come, wrestle with thy affection.
They take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, a good wish upon you. You will try in time, in despite of a fall. But, turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, on such a sudden, that you should fall into so strong a liking with good Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke my father loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly?
Let me love him for that, and let you love him because I do. Look you, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest ward. Haste and get us you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, if within these 10 days that thou beest so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
Good my lord, let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. Dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors, and their negation did consist in words. They are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter, there's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or, if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then could my lord mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous?
Dear sovereign, hear me speak!
Ay, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, else she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay, but now I know her! If she be a traitor, why, so am I. We still have slept together, rose in an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee. She robs thee of thy name. She's her very smoothness, her silence, and her patience speaks to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. Thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have cast upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honor, and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind! Whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love that teaches thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, whither to go, and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out.
Why, whither will we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you. So shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better I did suit me all points like a man? A gallant curtle axe on my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden woman's fear their will. We'll have a swashing and a martial outside, as many other mannish cowards have that do outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse name than Jove's own page. Therefore, look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
Oh, but cousin, what if we essayed to steal that clownish fool from out of your father's court? Would she not be a comfort to our travels?
She'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo her. Let us away, and get our wealth and our jewels together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuits that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content to liberty and not to banishment.
Hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counsellors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this, our life exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I will not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet, it irks me, the poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines with forked heads have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jaques grieves at this, and in this kind swears that you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished him. Today I did steal along behind him as he lay along under an oak, to which place a poor sequestered stag, that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt, did come to languish, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase, and the hairy fool, much marked of the melancholy Jaques, creeps to the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears. Nod. So Jaques then says,
Poor dear, thou makest the testament as worldlings do, giving thy sum of more to that which had too much. 'Tis right, thus misery doth part the flux of company.
Anon, a careless herd, full of the pasture, jumps along by him and never stays to greet it.
Aye, sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens. 'Tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there?
Thus, most effectively, he pierceth through the body of the country, city, court, yea, and of this our life, saying that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, to fright the animals and kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
Can it be possible that no man saw them since? It cannot be. Some villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot hear of any that did see them. The ladies, the attendants of her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of their mistress. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly o'erheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler who did but lately foil the sinewy Charles, and she believes wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. Let not search and inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
O unhappy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother, no, not brother, yet the son, yet not the son. I will not call him son of him I was about to call his father. Hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it? If he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. Or what? Wilt thou have me go and beg my food? Or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road? I rather will subject myself to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother. But come thy ways, and ere our youthful wages spent, will rest upon some settled low content.
Oh, Jupiter, how merry are my spirits! find it in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and cry like a woman. But I must comfort the weaker vessel, for doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoats. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the Forest of Arden.
Aye, now I am in Arden. More fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good touchstone. Oh, look you who comes here. A young man and an old in solemn talk.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewst how I do love her.
I partly guessed, but I have loved ere now.
No, Corin, being old thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, sure I think did never man love so, well, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then ne'er love so heartily, if thou rememberst not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into. Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe!
Alas!
Phoebe!
Poor shepherd! Searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found my own.
And I mine. We that are true lovers get to strange capers.
Joe, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine. But it grows somewhat stale with me.
I pray you. One of you question yond man if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
Holla, you clown.
Peaceful, he's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
Else they are very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I pray you, if that love or entertainment can, or love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, to bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid with travel much oppressed and faints for supper.
Fair sir, I pity her and wish for her sake more than for mine own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man. Do not shear the fleeces that I graze. Master is of churlish disposition and little recks to find the path to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flock, and mounds of food are all on sale. And at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there's nothing that you will feed on. But what is? Come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy the flock and pasture?
That young swain that you saw here but ere while, little cares for buying anything.
I pray you, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place and could willingly waste my time in it.
Assuredly the thing is to be sold. Go with me. And if you like upon report to soil the profits in this way of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Pour le plaisir militaire, il est le bas du pas de la forêt, aux maisons, nos couverts de bière, tout le long, c'est le nom du cabaret. La servante est jeune et jolie, légère comme un papillon, comme son venin son œil petit. Nu la fait l'enfant maintenant, nous en levons le lit. Nous y posons le jour, nous c'est comme la galante nous pour nous l'âme.
More, I prithee, more.
Will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I welcome it. More, I prithee, more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee,
My
more.
voice is ragged. I know I cannot plead.
I do not ask you to please me. I do ask you to sing. Will you sing?
More to request than to please myself.
Aha, well, and if I ever thank any man, I'll thank you. Ah.
The Duke will drink under this tree. It's been over
have been all this day to avoid him. He's too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, Warble, come. Command along.
Viens nous servir à boire sous la tonnelle, on frôle les autres jupons, et chacun leur raconte une histoire à sa façon. La médaillon n'a pour nous n'est pas sévère. Quand lui, le taille au menton, elle rit, et tout se mal c'est faire. Madelon, Madelon, Madelon.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? What? You look merrily.
A fool. A fool. I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool. Miserable world. She drew a dial from her poke, and looking upon it with lackluster eyes, said very wisely, "It is 11 o'clock. Thus we may see," quoth she, "how the world wags. For but an hour ago 'twas 9, and in 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And thus from hour to hour we ripe and ripe, and from whore to whore we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale." When I did hear the motley fool so moral upon the time, my lungs began to crow like Chanticleer, that fools could be so deep contemplative, and I did laugh, sans intermission for an hour by her dial. Ah, noble fool!
What fool is this?
Oh, worthy fool! One that has been at Fortium, and in her brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, she hath strange places crammed with observation, the which she vents in mangled forms. Ah, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one!
It is my only suit, provided that you read from your better judgments any opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty withal. A charter as wide as the wind to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. Invest me in my mind. Let me speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently accept my medicine.
Fie on thee! I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What for counter would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin, in chiding sin, for thou thyself hast been a liberty, as sensual as the brutish sting itself, and all them bossed sores and headed evils that thou with license of free foot hast caught, wouldst thou disgorge into the general world?
Go!
Forbear, and eat no more.
Why, that none yet.
Nor shalt not, till necessity be served.
What kind should this cock come of?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by thy distress? Or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemst so empty?
You touched the vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath ta'en from me the show of smooth civility. Yet I am inland bred and know of some nurture. But forbear, I say! He dies that touches any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are answered.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force, more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently. Oh, pardon me, I pray you. I had thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the continence of stern commandment. But let gentleness my strong enforcement be, to which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been known to church, and sat at good men's tables, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore, sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone, unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 occasions. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and his shining morning face creeping like snail unwillingly off the school. Then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous, your honor, quick and sudden in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputations, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fine round belly, with good cape and line, his eyes severe and his beard of formal cuts, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his parts. The 6-8 shifts to the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunken shed, and his big, manly voice, turning again towards childish treble pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange and eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans
Welcome, Fall 2. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousin, sing!
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you were, and as mine eye doth his effigies witness most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune, go to my cave and tell me. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Sir, it cannot be. Find out your brother, wheresoever he is. See him with candle, bring him dead or living within this 12 months, or turn now no more to seek a living in our territory, thy lands, and all things that thou dost call thine worth seizing, do we seize into our hands, till thou can quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
Hang there, my purse, in witness of my love. Thou, thrice-crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eye from thy pale sphere above thy huntress's name, whom my full life doth sway. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts, I'll character that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve in every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she!
How like you this shepherd's life, Madam Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd. In respect of itself, it is a good life, but in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. but in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect that it's in the fields, it pleaseth me well, but in respect that it is not in the court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well, but as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in me, shepherd?
No more, but that I know the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. He that wants for money, means, and content is without three good friends. The property of rain is to wet, and fire to burn. That good pasture makes fat sheep. That a chief cause of the night is lack of the sun. And that he that hath learned no wit by nature nor art may complain of good breeding, or is of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Was ever in court, shepherd?
Oh, truly.
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is a sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. That which is good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at court. You told me that you salute not at court, but that you kiss the hands. Such courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come, instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes, and their fells, you know, are greasy.
Do not your courtier's hands sweat? And is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow, a more sounder instance, come.
Besides, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them all the sooner. Shallow again, a more sounder instance, come.
You have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Thou rest, damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee, thou art raw.
Madam, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear. Oh, no man hate, envy no man's happiness. Glad of other men's good, and content in my harm. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck. Ah, here comes Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western Ind, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth, being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
I'll rhyme you so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted.
Out, fool.
For a taste, if a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. They that reap must sheath and bind, then to cart with Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose shall find love's prick and Rosalind. This is a very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Oh, peace, you dull fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Oh, peace, I say. Look, here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Upon the fairest boughs, or at every sentence end, will I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite, heaven would in little show. Therefore, heaven, nature charged, that one body should be filled with all graces wide enlarged. Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes.
But didst thou hear them without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you arrived, for look here what I found hanging on a palm tree.
Trow you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change you color?
I prithee.
Who? Oh, Lord, 'tis a hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now, with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again, wonderful, and after that, all out of whooping.
I prithee, tell me who it is quickly, and speak apace. I would thou couldst stammer, that thou mightest pour this concealed man out of thy mouth, as wine out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once, or none at all. I pray you, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly?
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
My God will send more, if the man be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow and true maid.
In faith, cause 'tis he.
Oh, Orlando!
Orlando!
Alas the day. What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What said he when thou sawest him? What did he? How looked he? Wherein went he? Where remains he? What does he here? What did thou sayest to him? How parted he with thee? And when wilt thou see him again? Answer me with one word.
You must borrow me a gargantuous mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size.
But doth he know that I am here in the forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover, but take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such great fruit.
Good madam, give me audience.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it be a pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous, he comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden, thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft, comes he not here?
'Tis he! Slink by and note him!
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I would at least have been myself alone.
I thought so too, but yet, for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God by you, let us meet as little as possible.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no more trees by writing love songs in their bars.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill favored.
Rosalind is thy love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
Well, there was no thought in pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers. Come, will you sit down by me, and we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery.
I will chide no breeders in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I hear you.
Tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under this habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you. What is it o'clock?
You had better ask what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Oh, then there's no true lover in the forest. Else, sighing every minute and groaning every hour could detect the lazy foot of time as well as the clock.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase and so remove the dweller.
I have been told so, of many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was, in his youth, an inland man, and one who knew courtship too well, for there we fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were each like one another as halfpence are, each fault seeming monstrous till his fellow faults came along to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
No, I will not cast my physic but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts this forest who abuses our young trees by carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all, forsooth, deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for indeed he hath the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There are none of my uncle's marks upon you. He did tell me how to know a man in love, in which page of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not. But I forgive you, for simply your having in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Else your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and every other thing about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrement, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Good youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her you love believe it, which I warrant she's apter to do than to confess she does. This is one way in which women still give the lie to their consciences. But, in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on which Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am he. An unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhymes nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet, I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any, sir?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I sent him every day to please me. At which point I, being but a woman, grieve the effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow and constant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything. Would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, then weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from a mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him, and thus will I take upon me to do to you, to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
Good youth, I would not be cured.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind and come to my cote every day and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my heart, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I will show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you dwell. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind.
Look, Ace, good Audrey.
I will fetch a
Audrey. And how, Audrey, am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features? Lord warrant us. What features?
Truly, I wish the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in deed and word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly. For the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear as lovers may be said in poetry they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do, truly. For thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou were a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou wert hard favored, for honesty, coupled to beauty, is to have but honey a sauce to sugar.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Praise be the gods for thy foundness. But be that as it may be, I will marry thee.
Well, the gods give us joy.
Amen. A man may, if he were fierce of heart, tremble in this attempt, for here we have no temple but the wood, no assembly but horned beasts. But what though? Courage! Come, sweet Audrey, we must be married, else we must live in Vaudrey.
Never talk to me. I will weep.
Tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good cause as one would desire, therefore weep.
Why did he swear he would come this morning, yet comes not?
Nay, certainly there is no truth in him.
Do you think so? Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I think he is not in.
You heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. He attends here in the forest on the Duke, your father.
I saw my father in the forest yesterday and had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was, so I told him of as good as he. So he laughed and let me go. Why talk with your fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely. But all's brave that youth mounts and folly guides. Look, who comes here?
Mistress, master, you have oft inquired after the shepherd who complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud, disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
You will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glare of scorn and proud disdain. Hence a little, I shall conduct you through market.
Let us remove the sight of lovers' feet at those in love. Bring us to this sight, and you shall say I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Oh, sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me, do not, Phoebe. Say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he that dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eyes. 'Tis pretty sure and very probable that eyes, which are the frailest and softest things who shut their coward gates anatomies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now, I do frown on thee with all of my heart, and if my eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Counterfeit to swoon, or why not a fall down, or if thou cannot, oh, for shame, liest not, and say that my eyes are murderers. Show me the wound my eyes have made in thee. Scratch thee with a pin, and there remains some scar of it, but my eyes, which have darted at thee, hurt thee not. No, now I am sure there was no force in eyes that can't do it.
Oh, dear Phoebe, if ever as that ever may be near you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that day, come not thou near me, and when that day comes, afflict me with thy locks, pity me not, because till that day I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? What, though you have no beauty, as by my faith I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed, must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why, what means this? Why look you so upon me? Odds my life, I think she means to tangle mine eye too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. You, foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis fools such as you that make the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her glass, but you, that flatters her, and out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But, mistress, know thyself. Down on your knees, and thank heaven, fasting, for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell while you can. You are not for all markets. Oh. Cry the man mercy. Love him. Take his offer.
Sweet youth, I pray you, chide a year together. I would rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. As fast as she answers thee with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Ha! Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like thee not. Will you go, sister? Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look better on him, and be not proud. Though all the world could see, none are so abused in sight as he. Come to our flock.
Sweet Phoebe?
What say now, Sylvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
I am sorry for thee, gentle Sylvius.
Well, wherever sorrow is, relief would be. Look, if you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving love, your sorrow and my grief will both exterminate.
Thou hast my love. Is that not neighborly?
I would have you.
Oh, that were covetousness. Sylvius, the time was that I hated thee. And it is not that I bear thee love, but that thou talkest of love so well that thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I shall endure and employ thee too. Ooh, but do not look for further recompense than our gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man that the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Who is the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft. Oh, and he hath bought the cottage in the bounds that the old Carlet once was master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. It is but a peevish youth, but he talks well. Oh, what care I for words? Yet words do well when those that speak them pleases those that hear him. 'Tis a pretty youth, I mean, not very pretty. I'm sure he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He would make a proper man. Oh, the best thing about him is his complexion. Faster than his tongue did make fences, his eyes did heal an apple. He's not very tall, but for his years he is tall. His leg is but so-so, but that's enough. There was a pretty redness in his lip. A little more lusty and riper red than that was mixed in his cheek. It was just a difference between the constant red and the mingled to mask. There be some women, Sylvius, that would have marked him in parcels as I had, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. But I have more reasons to hate him than to love him. But for what reason had he to chide at me? And I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all once. Admit it is no quittance. I shall write to him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt deliver it. Wilt thou, Sylvius?
Oh, Phoebe, with all my heart.
I shall write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I shall be bitter with him in passing short. Go with me, Sylvius.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so. I do love it more than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows, and betray themselves to every modern censure, worse than drunkards.
Right, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Oh, why then 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the soldier's, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lady's, which is nice, nor the lover's, which is all of you. But it is a melancholy of mind, compounded of many symbols extracted from many objects. Indeed, the sundry's contemplation of all my travels, which, in my often rumination, wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
By my life, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your lands to see other men's, then to have seen much, and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Indeed, I have gained my experience.
Farewell.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? Nay, and you come so tardy, never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love? He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts, and breaks but a part of 1,000th part of a minute in the affairs of love, it may well be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him o'er the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you serve me another such trick? Come no more in my sight. I had as lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better jointure, I should think, than you can make a woman. Come, Woo me, for now I am in a holiday humor and am like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
No, Orlando. You were better to speak first, and when you were gravelled for lack of matter, then you should take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will spit. But for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter, the cleanliest gift is to kiss.
Well, how if the kiss be denied?
Why, then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter.
Well, who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
Mary, that should you be if I were your mistress, or else I'd think mine honesty ranker than my wit. Am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say that you are, because I would be talking of...
Well then, in her person, I say I will not have you.
Well, in mine own person, I die.
No, Faith, die by attorney. The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time, there was not any man who died in his own person, videlicet, in a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
And by this hand it would not kill a fly, but now I will be your Rosalind in a more coming on disposition, and ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, I will, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
I am 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why then, can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall play the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. Will you do it, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
Uh-huh.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin, will you, Orlando?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
I but when?
Why now, as fast as she can marry us?
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask you for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. Now tell me how long you would have her after you have possessed her.
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, Orlando, men are April when they woo and December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot after rain, more newfangled than an ape, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, like Diana in the fountain, and I will do that when thou art disposed to be merry. I will laugh like a hyena, and that when thou art inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
By my faith, she will do as I do.
But she is wise.
Else she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. Make the door upon a woman's wit, and 'twill out at the casement. Stop that, and 'twill out at the keyhole. Shut that, and 'twill fly with the smoke out the chimney.
A man that had a wife with such a wit, he might say wit whither wilt.
Mary, you might keep that check for it till you met your wife's wit going to your neighbor's bed.
And what wit could wit have to excuse that?
To say that she came to seek you there? You will never take her without her answer unless you take her without her tongue. Oh, that woman that cannot make her fault her husband's occasion, let her never nurse her child herself, for she will breed it like a fool.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I will leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at supper. By 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways, go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as much, and I thought so. That flattering tongue of yours won me. 'Tis but one cast away, and so come death. 2 o'clock is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth. And so in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by all the pretty oaths that are not dangerous. If you break one jot of your promise to me, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you call Rosalind that may be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore beware my censure and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert my Rosalind. So, adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prey. We must have your double-headed host plucked over your head and show the world how to bring it back to our own nest!
Cuz. Oh, my pretty little cuz. If thou didst know how many fathoms deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal. I tell thee, Alena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll find a shadow and sigh till he come.
And I'll sleep.
Who is he that killed the deer?
Sir, it was I.
You should present him to the Duke like a Roman conqueror. And it would do well to place the deer's horns upon his head. As a branch of victory. Hast thou no song, Forester, for this purpose?
Yes, sir.
Sing it. No matter how it be in tune, so long it make noise enough.
How say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock? And here, much Orlando.
I warrant you, with pure love and troubled brain, he hath taken his bow and arrows and is gone forth to sleep. Look, who comes here?
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and waspish action which she did use as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but as a guiltless messenger.
She says that I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and that she could not love me were man as rare as Phoenix. What's my will? Her love is not the hair that I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Ah, well, Shepherd, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Come. You are a fool, and turned into the extremity of love. I saw her hand. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention and his hand.
No, sure, it is hers.
Why, 'tis a boisterous and a cruel style for challengers. Women's gentle brain could not draw forth such giant rude invention. Will you hear the letter?
As you please, for I have not heard it yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why, thy Godhead laid apart, warrest thou with a woman's heart? Did you ever hear such railing? Whilst the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, meaning me, a beast. If the scorn of thy bright eyne have power to raise such love in mine, alack, in me what strange effect might they have in mild aspect? Whilst you chid me, I did love. How then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me. Aw. And by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me, and all that I can make. Or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? What, to be made an instrument and play false strains on thee? Oh, not to be endured! Well, go thy way to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake. And say this to her, that if she loves me, I charge her to love thee. And if she will not, I will not have her unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word, for here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know, where in this perilous forest stands a sheepcote fence about with olive tree?
But at this hour the house doth keep itself, there's none within.
Well, Well, if an eye may profit by a tongue, then I shall know thee by description. Such garments and such years. The boy is fair with female favor and bestows himself like a right sister. Woman, low and browner than her brother, are you not them, the owners of the house that I asked for?
It is no boast being asked to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that shepherd youth he called his Rosalind. This blood-stained rag, are you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame. For if you were to know me, the man that I am, and then you would understand the how, the why, and the where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you tell it.
From last when Orlando parted from me with the promise to return in the hour, pacing through the forest, chewing on bitter and sweet fancy, lo, what befell. He threw his eye aside, and mark what did present itself. Under an oak covered in moss, high atop, bald with dry antiquity, laid a wicked, ragged man. And the lions, with udders drawn dry, hung there, with head low, with cat-like watch, for if the man were to stir, for that is the royal disposition of this beast, not to prey upon something that seemed also dead. Orlando did approach, and upon approaching saw that it was his brother, his older brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
As you may well do, for that I knew that he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice. Did he turn his back in purpose so? But kindness, more nobler than revenge, and nature, stronger than just occasion, Orlando did battle with the lioness, who quickly fell before him, and in stumbling out of miserable slumber, I awoke.
Are you his brother?
Wast you he rescued?
Wast you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
So what's that?
But for the bloody napkin.
By and by.
Oh.
From first to last betwixt us two, tears our recountenance was kindly bathed on how I came to this desert place. In brief, he brought me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, and committed me on to my brother's love, who instantly brought me to his cave, stripped and presented his arm, where the lioness stripped some flesh away, which all this while had bled. And in so he fainted. In fainting he cried, "Rosalind!" In brief, I was able to recover him, bandage up his wounds, and being strong of heart, he sent me here, stranger as I am, to retell this story for chance that you may forgive his broken promise and to present this blood-stained napkin to the shepherd youth that he doth in sport call his Rosalind.
Oh, why, how now, Ganymede, sweet Ganymede!
Many will faint when they look upon blood.
There's more in it, cousin Ganymede.
Look, he rises.
I would I were at home.
We'll lead you thither. Pray, will you take his arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You a man, you lack a man's heart.
I do so, I confess it. Sirrah, a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you, tell your brother how well I counterfeited.
There is no counterfeit in this. That was a complexion of testimony. That was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well, be of good heart, youth, and counterfeit to be a man.
So I do. But faith, I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
That will I. For you must recount on how you forgive my brother, Rosalind.
I shall devise something. But I pray you commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go?
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey. But, Audrey, there is a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
I know who 'tis. He had no interest in me in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
Good even, Audrey.
Gawdye. Good e'en, William.
And God ye good even, sir?
Good even, gentle friend. Is thy name William?
William, sir?
A fair name. Was born in the forest here.
Aye, sir, I thank God.
Thank God. A good answer. Art rich?
Marry, sir, so-so.
So-so is good. Very good. Very excellent good. And yet it is not, it is but so-so. Art thou wise?
I have a pretty wit.
Why, thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. You do love this maid?
I do, sir.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Oh, then learn this of me. To have is to have, for it is a figure in rhetoric that drink, being poured out of a cup into a glass, by filling the one, doth empty the other. Now, all of your writers do consent that Ipsy is he. Now you are not Ipsy, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
The he, sir, who must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon the society of this female, or, clown, thou perishest. Or to thy better understanding, diest. Or to wit, I kill thee, make thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal in poison with thee, or bastinado or in steel. I will bandy with thee in faction, I will o'errun thee with policy, I will kill thee 150 ways. Therefore, tremble and depart.
Do, good William.
God rest you merry, sir.
Mistress and master seek you. Come away, away.
Trip, Audrey, I attend.
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her? That upon seeing you should love her and loving woo, and wooing she should grant? And will you persevere to enjoy her?
Say with me that I love Aliena. Say with her that she loves me. And consent that we may enjoy each other. And it would be for your benefit. For my father's home and all the estate of Sir Roland's, I would instate upon me. And live out my life as a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither will I invite the Duke and all his contented followers. Go you, and prepare Aliena, for look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
Ah, and to you, fair sister.
My dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in the scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when you showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh! I know where you are! Nay, 'tis true, for your brother and my sister no sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but they sought the remedy. And in these degrees have they made a pair of stairs to marriage. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Clubs cannot part them.
But they shall be married tomorrow, and I will invite the Duke to the nuptials. Oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. So much the more tomorrow shall I be at the height of heart heaviness. How much I shall make my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you no longer then with idle talking. Know of me now can do strange things. I have, since I was 3-year-old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art and yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near your heart as your gesture cries it out, tomorrow when your brother marries Aliena, so shall you marry her. I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me, if it seem not inconvenient to you, to set her before you, human as she is, and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life, I do, which I tender dearly. Though I say I am a magician, so in the meantime, put you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you will marry tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind if you will. Look you, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
You have done me much ungentleness to show the letter I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are here followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him, he worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what it is to love.
It's to be all made of sighs and all made of tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It's to be all made of faith and all made of service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It's to be all made of fantasy, all made of passions and all made of wishes. All adorations, all duty, all observance, all humbleness, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all observance. So am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
If that be so, why blame you me to love you?
If that be so, why blame you me to love you?
If that be so, why blame you me to love you?
Why do you say too, why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear.
No more of this, I pray you. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I would love you if I could. I would help you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me here all together. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and you will be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfied man. You will be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you will be married tomorrow. As you love Phoebe, meet. As you love Rosalind, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. Therefore, go! I have left you my command.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Or I.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised it?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not. As those that fear they hope and know they fear.
Patience, once more, whiles our compact is urged. You say, if I bring you your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando.
That would I had a kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you'll marry Rosalind if she will?
Why would I if I were of all kingdoms?
You say you'll marry me if I be willing.
And I would should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse, you'll give yourself to this most faithful shepherd?
So is the bargain.
You say you'll have Phoebe if she will.
Though to have her and death were both one thing.
I have spoken, and from hence I go, to make all these doubts even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favour.
My lord, when I first saw him, we thought he was a brother to your daughter, but my good lord, this boy is forsworn.
Salutation and greetings to you all.
Oh, good my lord, bid her welcome. This is that motley-minded gentlewoman that I have so often met in the forest. She hath been a courtier, she swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I have been politic with my friend, smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors. I have had 4 quarrels, and like to have fought one.
Good my lord,
like this gentlewoman.
I like her very well.
God ill you, sir. I desire you of the like. I press in here, sir, amongst the rest of the country copulatives, to swear and to forswear, as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, sir, an ill-favored thing, sir, but mine own. A poor humor of mine, sir, to take that which no man else will. Rich honesty dwells like a miser, sir, in your poor house, as your pearl in your foul oyster.
By my faith, she is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's book, sir, and such dulcet diseases.
To you, I give myself, for I am yours. To you, I give myself, for I am yours.
Woo-hoo! If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he.
You and you, no cross shall part. You and you are heart in heart. You and you are sure together as the winter to foul weather. You to his love must accord, not have this woman to your lord. Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me, even daughter, welcome in no less degree.
I shall not eat my words. Now thou art mine. Thy faith in my fancy to thee doth
Hearing how every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, I addressed a mighty power, purposely to take my brother here and put him to the sword, and to the skirts of this wild wood I came. My crown, bequeathing to my banished brother, and all lands restored to you again that were with you exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young man. First in this forest let us do those ends that here were well begun and well begot. And after, every of this happy number that have endured true days and nights with us shall share the good of my returned fortune, according to the measure of their states. Meantime, forget this new-fallen dignity, and fall into our rustic revelry, play music, and you brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy, to the measure's fall.
You to your former honor I bequeath. Your patience and your virtue well deserve it. You to a love that your true faith doth merit. You to your land and love and great allies. You to a long and well-deserved bed.
and you to wrangling for thy loving voyage. So, to your pleasures. I am for other than for dancing measures. Stay, Jenquis. Stay! To see no pastime. Proceed, proceed. We will begin these rites as we do trust they'll end in true delights.
By the Concord Players, but we are 100% voluntary donation supported group. Any donations that you might choose to make to us not go only to things like tonight, but to other arts here in the community. If this has whetted your appetite for more live theater, Steel Magnolias opens on the main stage at 51 Walden on September 3rd. It's been delayed since May of 2020, and the actresses are really excited to present it for you. It's an amazing show. Regardless of whether your travels take you back to Concord, back to theater, or to the Forests of Arden, thank you for coming out and supporting us. We are so happy to be back. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be back. It's been a long time. It's been a long 17, 18 months. We've done. Thank you.